Who's done Silverlight before? So about a third of the room. If you haven't done Silverlight before, that's a common language to get started with. If you've done XNA programming, that's another way you can go out and build applications. But you go out to create.msdn.com to get the tools. So really the way to get started on building applications is take advantage of what we provide online. We've got 3 tools. This includes a version of Visual Studio that has all of the templates for doing Windows Phone applications. If you already have Visual Studio installed, it'll just add the templates to your one installation, so you don't have to manage multiple installations. We also give you a copy of XNA Studio 4.0. That is for building your Xbox Aware games and taking advantage of 2D and 3D graphics. We also get a copy of Expression Web, which is a design tool for taking XAML and really customizing it, and doing it from more of a design perspective, and be able to go out and get started with that. If you want to build applications and run them on your phone and deploy them, we have a marketplace. The marketplace is available. You saw I pulled it up here. It's also available from Zoom. It's available from the web. You can go out to the marketplace and publish your apps. Now, we do a background check of people that are in the development ecosystem. And that background check, the reason why we charge $99 is because we actually pay a company to go out and just validate that whoever's creating this is actually real people, that they're not creating a bunch of phantom accounts for people that are hacking and do whatever. So there's a $99 fee to register the marketplace as a developer. If you're a student, you can get that from DreamSpark for free. So you can save that $99. If you talk to me about BizSpark, we can get you that for free as well. There's a platform, Microsoft platform, right?
What was that?
BizSpark. It is a new business program that Microsoft offers. You get 3 years of all of our software, everything you want for free.
The MSDN AA or whatever academic alliance.
If you have the MSDN AA, which is the Academic Alliance, that also gives you access to all the software. So you wouldn't need both, but if you wanted to.
Double the pleasure.
When you build and deploy an application, people can download it. They can charge it free up to, I think, $6, or I don't know what the max is, but you can go out and create your applications and have some fun with that. So let's get started with this. We're about to create.msdn.com. And this is going to take us to where we're going to go out and build our first applications. But before we build it, we actually have to get the tool. So we go out to create.msdn.com. It'll reroute you to this URL, which is the US version. From here, if you click on download the free tools, that'll take you to a link where you can get to the download. You can download the tools. You can also register in the App Hub. But it gives you all of these different pieces. And so when you click on install now, it goes out and will detect what version of Visual Studio you have, if any, that it will add it to, or do I install the free version. This goes down on the bottom and runs this application, VM Web, which is a web-based installation. It'll download all the pieces you need to get started. I'm going to cancel that because I've already run that. But once you've done that, then we also have places where you get more information about getting started. So besides getting this, you can also get information about how do I learn about Windows 7 coding. So there's samples, and there's tons of samples out here, all the way from XNA up to Silverlight, of different types of features and functionality we can go on and do. But we've got our Visual Studio up here in running, and I'm going to add a new project to it. So I'm running Visual Studio Ultimate, which added the project type. So I go out and create a new project. It gives me the option down here, Silverlight for Windows Phone, as well as the XNA Game Studio. So either one of these, I can go out and create an application, tie into data, and be able to work with it. We'll create just a simple phone, simple phone. How's that sound? And we're going to add it to our current solution. So we'll just keep adding stuff to our solution. We'll get slower and slower. But I've got a couple different options of two types of applications to build. Do you want to build a simple one-page kind of a thing, the very basic simple? Do you want to go out and create a panorama application? This is where you've got that broad base, and you've got a bunch of different controls, and you can kind of go back and forth, give the user the idea that you're looking into a view that's larger than just one page of information. Depending on the type of application you're building, you might want that. Then again, it does eat up real estate. You might want something different. We also have what's called a pivot application type. So if you have an application that's got like tabs on the screen, and that's kind of your mantra that you've got, the pivot works real well. So you got the different tabs across the top, and each time you switch, you can change what everything looks like. We're just going to create a simple phone app, and I just want to create just as simple as possible, a little web application. When you install the tools, you also get the emulator. So the emulator comes in, and unlike previous versions of Windows Mobile where you had to wire in the network and all the other things to get it to work, the emulator is very smart about how to make that all work and tie into everything. And in fact, it's built off of our virtualization technology. One of the caveats is you can't install this inside of a virtual machine because the virtual machine that this is running conflicts with, it needs to be running on the host OS. Sorry. Last time I was going to talk to you, Mike. Right.
We're done.
We're done. That's it. So over on the left side, I've got a scaled view of what this application looks like. You can zoom in and zoom out. That's the neat thing about XAML. You've got the controller over here to be able to zoom in. Let me unpin this, give us a little bit more real estate to work with. On the left side, you'll see I've got things that are the actual application. What does this app look like? On the right-hand side is a bunch of XML. How many people have looked at XAML before and like looking at XML? Do you like editing the XML?
Oh, no.
Not if you don't have to. It's good to understand it because you can do interesting things inside there. But you know, really, do I ever want to look at all that? One of the things that you'll find with the color coding in this is that down here at the bottom, you've got some code that's commented out. You select this, right? This is the application menu bar. You select that, those lines, and do a Control-K view on the comment. Select these lines, do a Control-K view. It'll uncomment that code. And when I did that, it added these application buttons along the bottom. So we include in the template, you know, ways that you can get to various different pieces of information. Now, this is kind of a boring looking application. I've got my page name here. If I do the F4 key, it'll pull up my properties, and I can see the properties of whatever it is I'm looking at. So if I look at the properties on this, make the examples nice and small. There we go. I can click over here and I can edit this. So we can give this our, you know, my app stuff, right? And in our stuff, we can then go ahead and do other stuff, like maybe, you know, wrap that inside or whatever. One of the things I'm going to do inside the XAML, though, just because I am sort of a XAML freak, is I like having my stuff, I want my stuff to be actually wrapped up inside of a text, or inside of a stack panel, which is a layout control, put things side by side. So I'm just going to do this. I'm going to add a stack panel here. Set my orientation to horizontal. And the reason why I'm going to do this is because I'm going to take my stuff, I'm going to change this into something a little different. Control-K. Now, stuff sits right here. I've got, you know, my text. I can go over to my toolbox and I can click and drag something like a text box onto my stuff page. Look at that, it added my text box, you know, and then I can add a button. And you can do all the things that you normally do inside of your program to make things work, right? Now, if you click the button, maybe I want to do something with this, double click on it. Now, this is not best practices. Normally, you name your controls, you'd have a plan for what you're doing. We have neither.
Quick and dirty.
Right, quick and dirty. This is called, you know, code demo. So you can do things in here like, say, message box like show, I've been clicked, and then just click the F9 at a break point and do the run. F5 will run the application as we're clicking the run key right there. This is going to deploy this out to my Windows Phone 7 emulator by default. Now, if I have my phone, I can go out and I can register my phone to my device and be able to build it and then test it on my phone as well. And in either case, it connects up to the phone operating system and then allows me to debug the application as it's out here running. So up here you can say, here's our application, there's our stuff. You click up here, and then I can go out and just start typing. Mike, click on the button. So notice its name's button, so it's very clear. Click the button. Now I'm in the debug mode. I can see, here's my call stack. I can see, here's my locals. I can see, here's the autos when things get set. If I clear that breakpoint just to be able to F5 and run it, then on this you'll see I get a little dialog that comes up saying, hey, I didn't click. You click the back button, it stops debugging, but the application's still here, so I can go out and I can start the silver phone and just run it natively without the debugger attached. So it basically deploys that application to this device. Pretty cool, huh?
Yep.
Now, let's do something a little bit more interesting than this. One of the things that I was going to talk about a little bit later is this stuff called